this movie like for you personally making this movie? How did you feel creating it and everything like that? Because it seemed like there's a lot of pain and a lot of things you want to get off your chest through this movie.
Yeah, well, first of all, I don't ever take on a project that I can't find myself in, right? So when I read a script, I make sure that there's something in it that I could personalize. And if it's not in there, then I gotta go to the producers and pitch the idea of putting it inside there. You know what I mean? So of course I didn't grow up in New Orleans and I didn't live through Hurricane Katrina on the ground, right? But the effects of Hurricane Katrina on that community is very similar to the effects of crack in my community. It's very similar to the effect of racism in Staten Island when we were trying to get our feet on the ground, right? So since the idea of those four characters all having aspirations, and then those aspirations turning into desperations, that I understood, and so I decided to pitch that part of the story to the producers, and they was like, "Yo, that's a great way to tell this movie." And so, look, when you start feeling the idea of pain, yeah, the pain is our community. You know what I mean? The pain is that FEMA let us down at the time where we needed them, right? And not just where we needed them. A lot of people don't understand this part of it, and I do as a man who started with no nickel,
Yeah,
right?
right. Facts.
I understand that, as a man who now is, a taxpayer and citizen, and I pay a lot in taxes, bro. They hit me over the head. You know what I mean? That everything we spend, whether we paying taxes on our clothes, food, our shelter, or from your salary, all that goes to the government, yo. And therefore, that's your money that you are investing into the security of yourself. And that security means your military security, your paved roads, your lights, whatever. You paying for this. Nobody's doing this for a favor for us. You know what I mean? And then when you need that assistance, that federal enforcement management agency is coming to manage the situation and give you that assistance, and they deny you it, it's a big problem. And that same thing that we've seen happen in 2005 at Hurricane Katrina, which we are now at the 15th year anniversary is coming up this August, we see that in its own different form in this pandemic. You know what I mean? We see that our communities, Black communities and poor communities, because when you say poor, it's definitely our community, but then you got the Latin brothers who have poverty in their community. You know what I mean? A lot of our white brothers, you know what I mean? Big population living in trailer homes and water coming from wherever source they're getting that water from. You know what I mean? Poor communities. And when you see that those communities become the one that has to suffer or be disenfranchised or not get the benefits of what is theirs, right? Because none of this money belongs to no politician, bro. It don't belong to them. We even pay their salaries.
Absolutely.
So if your politician got a good dental care, it's thanks to you. So anyway, but greed becomes the factor that stops everybody from giving out the proportion that belongs to the next man. And that's why in the film we check in on that energy. We see that our characters and our gangsters, they're like, Shamik Moore plays a character named Blink, who is a college student. I mean, a college graduate. He got his associate degree. He thought he'd be able to come out, get a good job, but no, he's Black. It stops him. And I'm not just saying that to make it a racist thing, but that's the problem he has to face. But then there's another character, a young white man played by Kenan Johnson, whose name is Junior, right?
Yeah.
He's trying to breed dogs and have his own kennel. But nah, you ain't gonna do that in the poor community. They're not gonna look at, it's not gonna work for you in the poor community. If you was, in the suburbs, you'll be able to pull that off. And so even for the poor white man in the community, he's stuck in the same condition as the poor Black man. He may get some benefits later, but I took the story from the screenplay and I looked at my own neighborhood, and we always had a guy, like in my neighborhood, I come from a Charlotte in Stapleton. We have my boy, I don't mind saying his name out loud, white boy John, you know what I mean? But Yo, he used to hang with us, yo. He could throw hands, everything, yo. You know what I mean? He could do what he do. He one of us. You know what I mean? And at the same time, you know what I mean? If crime is crime, then he's in crime as well. You know what I mean? If we trying to make beats or hip hop, then he's gonna probably go into that chamber, right? So, point being made that the movie was to kind of give is shining a light on that in the mix of Hurricane Katrina aftermath.